something about purchase of Alaska and Florida?
So the purchase of Florida, it was established under the Adam-Onis Treaty in 1819, where basically Spain agreed with the United States that it would give out its claims in Florida if the US compensates it in Texas. So there was not a monetary value attached to it. However, around $5 million of claims of US citizens towards Spain's, they were written off in that treaty. Whereas as far as the purchase of Alaska is concerned, it took place in 1867, where the czars of Russia, they were already economically on a downward trend after the Crimean Wars that they were fighting. So they wanted to sell off Alaska basically because they thought that in case of a greater European war, they won't be able to defend it. So under that agreement, Alaska was sold for $7.2 million to the US, which was less than 2 cents an acre at that time.
Okay. It is widely believed that movement for Pakistan independence started from Urdu-Hindi controversy. Do you agree with this statement? First tell us about something about Urdu-Hindi controversy and then about its significance in terms of creation of Pakistan.
Sir, I certainly agree with your statement. Basically, Hindi-Urdu controversy, it took place in 1867 in the city of Benares, where the United Provinces of Agra and Awadh were planning to put Hindi as an official language and to replace Urdu basically with Hindi as the official language of that state. So basically, this engulfed certain riots among the Hindus and the Muslims, as well as Muslims were proponents of Urdu being kept as the official language since it was written in an Arabic script, while the Hindus, they were promoting it, the same language to be written in the Devanagari script. Coming towards the second part of your question, which was whether it was the beginning of the Pakistan movement or not, I believe so, because if you look at the statements of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, who was present during that time in Benares previously, he was of the view that Hindus and Muslims are basically two eyes of a bride, and that bride was India. However, after that, he said that he has come to that conclusion that these two nations are essentially separate and they cannot live together in the future as well. So I believe that this viewpoint, this radical shift of viewpoint of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan is clearly indicative of the fact that Pakistan movement took its birth during that crisis.
Okay. What is meant by fourth wave of feminism and what are its main points?
Sir, I believe there are three main points that define the fourth wave of feminism. The first one being that...
When it started?
Sir, I'm not sure, but I think it was around 2012.
Oh, okay.
It was very recent. What some of the important points of the fourth wave of feminism, the first one being that it advocates against sexual harassment, against rape, against workplace harassment, and these kind of immoral activities. And the second point of the fourth wave of feminism is it basically relates towards using the online platform by even accusing people. For example, the Me Too movement, the recent Me Too movement, that was also a part of it. And thirdly, it also amalgamates various other genders into its stream, where, for example, men's feminism, it's also a part.
Most important parts were women empowerment, reducing gender inequality.
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ji, Muhammad Raza. Raza, you know that the major problem between India and Pakistan is Kashmir. Now, as a Pakistani and a learned Pakistani, what do you think? What could be the solutions for Kashmir issue between India and Pakistan?
So basically, if you see, this problem has long existed for 70 years, and there have been certain ups and downs during this period. But there is one very established conclusion that comes from out of those 7 decades, is that military option is definitely not one of them. Whenever we have tried to involve into a military conflict over Kashmir, it has never benefited the Kashmiris at So, ruling out that option, I believe there are several steps that the Pakistani government could take in terms of promoting its objective of having an independent Kashmir or having a Kashmir, or basically towards listening towards the wishes of the people of Kashmir, which is also a part of our constitution as well. The first one being we could definitely establish dedicated Kashmir desks across our embassies, across our councils, where not only the Kashmiri diaspora is mobilized to promote their viewpoint, but also they are being used to highlight the atrocities of human rights violations that the Indian authorities have been taking place. Moreover, I believe that since Kashmir is an international issue, it's not a bilateral issue, various other parties could be involved into resolving that crisis. This could involve the United States, this could involve our mutual friends with India, this should also involve the United Nations as well. And these kind of agencies should be mobilized to promote the first stage of that. I think it would be that they should defend the dignity of men and women in that area, and to develop them not only economically but also educationally and various other through social mobilization platforms. Then
Okay, Mohammad Raza, you know that we have a very, very important and high level forum in Pakistan to deal with this Kashmir issue, and that is Kashmir Committee. In your opinion, to what extent this committee has been successful to raise the issue at the important international forums, and what is the contribution of this committee?
Sir, regarding the successes of that committee, I cannot exactly pinpoint what successes that they have achieved during their tenure, but definitely they have a very well designed and a very organized agenda that they need to pursue, especially in terms of promoting the atrocities of Indians in the international media. Other than that, it also tries to the key objective that this committee tries to achieve is basically to give them a voice. Because if you see, even in that article, this recent Article 370 crisis, the key weapon that the Indians used was to block their voice. They blocked them from social media. They blocked them from using telecommunication. They imposed a curfew on them so that they could not voice what kind of a situation that they're living in. And in that opinion, I think Kashmir activity has played a very active role, and especially when US presidents and various other international leaders gave statements regarding the atrocities that are being conducted in Kashmir.
Okay, Mohammad Raza, geographically, the location of Pakistan is considered to be of prime importance from a world point of view, and particularly after disintegration of USSR, we feel that the importance of Pakistan has further enhanced with reference to Central Asian states. What do you think, how Pakistan can capitalize this geographical importance?
So we have seen the realization of this importance, especially in terms of the Chinese-Pakistan economic corridor, where Pakistan has been providing warm water access towards those parts of China that are not very accessible towards the sea. Such kind of a corridor, such kind of a transit agreement could also take place with various of the CIS states that are itself landlocked, including Kazakhstan and Tajikistan and various other these CIS states. That is one opportunity. Other than that, Pakistan being an energy deficient country, because of the low production of natural gas or other fossil fuels, CIS states they provide a great opportunity for Pakistan, especially in terms of TAPI or these kind of pipelines, where Pakistan could easily access those huge natural reservoirs of fossil fuels at a very low cost. So that's another thing. Thirdly, most of these CIS states that are close to Pakistan, they're Muslim states, and definitely we have a connection on a religious level with them. This can also be capitalized in forming a bloc so as to voice the concerns, especially in the wake of the recent Islamophobia and such kind of events that have been taking place across the world. I think these are some opportunities.
Okay, Raza, the 18th constitutional amendment in Pakistan is considered as a landmark in the constitutional history of Pakistan. Just tell us what are the salient features of 18th constitutional amendment, that is one, and then how many lists, concurrent lists were there in the 18th constitutional amendment?
So basically, some of the key changes that took place during this 18th Amendment were firstly, the name of NWFP was changed to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which basically it was a long-voiced concern of the local populace that was addressed. Other than that, greater provincial autonomy, which was the essence of 1973 Constitution, as well as the essence of the formation of the federation of the country, was finally achieved through this. Thirdly, the 18th Amendment has also given us the NFC award as well, under which the provinces are getting a much larger share, and that also very systematically organized, which is not only determined on the basis of the population that was there. Other than that, I believe that the 18th Amendment it has also changed the spellings of certain provinces as well, including Sindh and Balochistan. So these are what I can recall at the moment.
Okay, when was the Indus water treaty concluded between India and Pakistan?
So Indus water treaty, I believe it was concluded in 1960. It was signed in 1960. However, an agreement on the sharing of water was already reached in the Karachi agreement in 1949, I believe.
There are deserts in Pakistan. Can you name at least 3?
Yes, sir. So there is one third desert, which is in district Thar Pakar in Sindh. There